what's up, everybody? Mr. Lowkey here. Introspective live streams over YouTube. It's amazing Sunday. I am the Sunset Streamer, and let's have a conversation. Thank you to all guests for your support. And if you've been watching some of my um, live podcasts I've done with some very interesting characters, Mr. Joel Smith, a filmmaker. He studied at New York Film Academy, I believe, and now based in Japan. And also Mac the Day Gamer, who's also been streaming consistently with his player life. And today, I've been pondering and thinking of which topic to discuss next. And I read some of the headlines in the news, and one character in particular who I often talk about and whose life and biography a lot of people have studied is Mr. Elon Musk. Now, fun fact, I went to the same high school as Elon Musk. Actually, a lot of people could be saying that because when he was younger, he went to different high schools. He used to get bullied and he'd get moved around. And at the particular high school I'm describing, I'm not going to say the name. Those of you who are, internet detectives can find out where. But he got into a fight and he actually got thrown down a staircase and got knocked out. So then his father moved him to a different school. And this particular thing really got me thinking. This particular figure, Elon Musk, and I wondered what was it about him that made him able to do the things he does. And different people have analyzed it and looked at it, and it is a very interesting topic because I'll just give you some adjustments so you can see me nicely, so you can see me nice and good. A little bit better? Okay. There's my air fryer beeping in the background. But back to topic. It's so interesting thinking about how he born, bred, buttered, peanut butter, jammed, raised in South Africa, and him then making the decision to move to Canada to study, and then from Canada, because he's also he's Canadian, South African, and within the South African side, British, Dutch. So there's a lot to unpack there. And I bring up his family, his lineage, because deep down, I truly believe a lot of what we are capable of, what makes up our potential, a big portion of that is genetics and your DNA. And a portion of that being luck, and a portion of that just being what is available to you in your environment. And I'd say another portion of that is your life decisions, whatever percentage you want to give to those different factors. And if you're someone who likes to make equations or make a little regression, if you're a statistics nerd, then the particular equation we're making of what is it that a person can be able to accomplish would be your factors, your variables that you could alter in your equation. A big part of it would be, I'd say, your DNA, your environment, your particular lifestyle. I'd say environment you can even break up into different factors. So it would be your macro environment and your micro environment. So the macro, the place where you're staying, if you're living in a war zone, there's only so much you can accomplish. Everything is getting destroyed all the time. So there's only so much you can accomplish. And the micro side would be just little lifestyle effects. For example, if you stay in a very, very busy city with not very good service delivery, just staying alive and doing your day-to-day is going to take up the majority of your time. And you won't be getting much sleep, and you'll be eating a bad diet because there just is no good food available. So that is going to definitely impact potentially what you're capable of doing. So that hits your equation a lot. And then a lot of it would just be your particular choices, your own inner motivation, which would be you, okay, deciding to chase it every day, deciding, okay, I'm going to improve. If I don't know, I'll change it, which in a way is also very, very altered by genetics, I believe. And also, yeah, your nature and your nurture, sure, but I think it's a combination. And I had this talk with Dr. Skywalker as well, where he believed a lot of what you accomplish and the things you go into in life are predestined, which is a very interesting thing. Now, I don't personally, I'll tell you my thoughts on this one. I feel, depending on the person as well, this equation I'm describing would it would vary per person. Some environments, I think, the correlation of your success to your environment. Yeah, let's call that our beta. The correlation of your success to environment. Let's compare people to stocks. There we go. Now we've got an full of allegories on these live streams. Certain stocks do well when the economy does well. Certain stocks do well regardless of what the economy is doing. And certain stocks have a negative coefficient. They go the opposite of what the market is doing. And I believe certain people are like that too. There are certain types of people that excel in certain conditions that most people won't, and certain people are just unaffected by it. And bringing this whole point back, Mr. Elon Musk, I think in his particular equation of potentially what he's capable of doing, a major, major part of his particular equation was, I believe, just his genetics. Is he truly the only person who can do what he does? And I thought, what are the odds of that? Out of 7 billion people in the world, is he the only one who can perform at this level? And I looked back and I thought about it, and in life, there have been multiple people with such rare abilities. How many Michael Jordans have they been? Some may argue that there's only been one. There have been people to compare, but there's only been one person who's won 6 NBA championships. And it got me thinking, if I was 7 foot tall, how rare would that be? Over 2 meters tall. It would be rare, but there are other people of that height. So it really got me thinking, how rare are Elon Musk's abilities to have that potential to operate, I'd say, competently in multiple fields: computer programming, aeronautics, electrical, automotive design. Sure, there is some crossover and synergy to having those particular skills. I can understand it in the particular time we live in, so the environment where it actually is possible to learn a lot more through programming. And maybe long time ago, to learn, you'd kind of, it was hard to find quality information over the internet. If there even was an internet, you had to go to certain libraries, you had to speak to certain experts. And maybe now in like modern day, acquiring and learning is a lot easier to do. Definitely a lot easier. I actually recently got myself a bicycle, and I've owned bicycles when I was younger, but every time it broke, I'd have to take it back to the bicycle shop to fix it. If it got a flat tire, I'd have to take it to the bike shop. If the brake was loose, I had to take it to the bike shop. And I didn't know how to fix it myself. I hadn't actually sat with the person who knew how to do it to show me. And I went on YouTube, funny enough, and I was like, how to fix this on a bicycle. And I went to RJ, the bike guy's channel, and multiple different other channels. And having a very good explanation and seeing things done. And in a week or so, something that I hadn't known for years, I finally learned in a couple of weeks how to and tune up a bicycle, dial in the brakes, really do that. And it really got me thinking, are we now going to start to see more Elon Musks? Are more of them going to start to appear? And with your TikToks and your, people having smartphones and having this ability, this access to information, now you're watching me speak wherever you may be in the world. And it really had me wondering, are we going to start to see more of this now that the environment part of our equation is changing? Now we're in an environment where the environment is now unlocking so much more potential. It's not just limited to your genetic potential. Before, you needed to have extreme levels of motivation. You needed to have the capacity to store a lot of information. You had to have a ridiculous IQ, very, very rare. But now the environment part of the equation has been lowered. And now more and more people have access to something. Is what's going to happen now that are we going to start to see more Tom Brady's? Are we going to start to see more Michael Jordans, more Elon Musk's? Are we going to? It really had me wondering. And what's going to happen when genetic engineering becomes a thing? And it's not just, okay, cool, max out all stats. Here's your game shark to life. Boom, max out all stats. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. And the people who have access to that first are really going to go forward and take over everything. And the rich are going to keep getting richer. The ones, sorry, I'm all over the place today. Another big part of this equation is, I'll say, just plain luck. Just statistically being able to stumble on that winning formula, I think, is also a major part in unlocking such great, amazing potential. Where sometimes things, as they say, sometimes the stars just have to be aligned. If there's only a 1 in 100 chance of winning, if you are that 100th person who somehow gets through, that is another major part. And it's such an interesting time. It always feels like such an interesting time, but particularly now, I'm really wondering who is going to be the next. I'm sorry to be so cliche. The next Steve Jobs, the next Nikola Tesla, the next, and I think we're going to start to see more and more of them. And at the same time, there is, and as we get more experience in identifying these outliers, and we crack and we see what makes them, and we understand their methodologies, and we can copy them and make more and more and more. It's really got me thinking, the ones who know it and react to it. Again, that's another thing. The same equation. The environment, cool. The environment, if you're in an environment, if you have the luck. So now statistically, if we increase the odds, let's say, okay, statistically we increase the odds, you now have a better chance of becoming the next Elon Musk. You have access to all the tools, you know the methodology to do it. You're like, all right, cool, study for this much, eat beetroots every day at 4 p.m. Okay, then I'll have the ideal diet, all the macronutrients to truly unlock my potential. And the other part of the equation is going to be you making the conscious choice to walk that road. So first, being potentially having access to that road, knowing the road exists, and then choosing to walk that path is going to be such a massive part of why the rich get richer. Because this particular instance in time, as they say, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, as George Lucas said. I think these instances of what we're witnessing with these super outliers have happened in recurring trends in history. The people, those super elite who push everything either forward or backwards, even. And whether they're created by circumstances or DNA or choice, they happen again and again. These uber elite people. And if you just look at the country Zimbabwe and the former leader Robert Mugabe, and how what made one person out of a country of 12 million people at the time able to be the longest running dictator in history. A combination of environment, a combination of genetics, a combination of personal choice, survival mentality, and a drive, and just circumstances as well. You know, it was he liberated a nation from colonial rule, and had Zimbabwe never been colonized, would he still have been the longest running dictator? Perhaps. Perhaps that's the thing. And it's such an interesting topic that I think I could go on and on and on and about. And if you have an opinion or a perspective on it, please share your comment below. I'd love to chat to you about it. And what are you doing now that you know this topic, you know the life equation to accomplish what you want in life? How are you altering your environment, best utilizing your DNA, your talents, your predestined, stats? How are you leveling up, or are you just accepting life? Life is life. I don't need to look at what's going on. I'll just live my life as I choose. What are the conscious daily life choices and lifestyle things that you do? And wow, it's a cool topic to chat about. My side in particular, I'm definitely trying to get this live streaming more, trying to max the diet and lifestyle and learning. I've been on Google Digital Skills Academy and really trying to, max out all these different statistics. So, Mr. Lowkey, a lot of monologuing and rambling tonight, but hopefully more to come. And please follow me on IG. Details in the description below. Always a pleasure having you here, wherever you may be in the world. The Sunset Streamer, Mr. Lowkey, signing out.